We've realized it's going to take me basically performing the role of a para or whatever, just sit with him and actually go through the stuff with him. He can't do it on his own. It's too confusing for him. There's no one checking in with him like they would be in person. He went from an A student who made honor roll every quarter to he now has D's. And he's a good student and he just needs the structure and he's not getting it. And I know it's because, schools are dealing with craziness. It was hard. I actually love what I do. We've considered homeschooling, just pulling him out and homeschooling, which is something I don't want to do, but it's actually affecting his emotions, his mental health. We're actually having to seek a therapist for him now because he's just imploding. New Year's Eve, he started to wail, and we couldn't figure out what was wrong with him. And he started wailing that he didn't want to go back to school on Monday. We've been trying all year. They didn't have a special educator at the beginning of the year, and actually neither of my twins' classes, which is out of compliance, but I understood why because of what's going on. But here we are, January. It's actually getting worse, not better.
Kids are not in school by and large. They're in virtual school, and somebody's got to oversee that. And so everything is all in the same place all the time. And the women are wildly disproportionately bearing that load.
What can they do to help the women who've dropped out of the workforce, who've lost their jobs in the service industries, get back?
There ought to be a kind of almost like an amnesty, right? Where firms, just like a moratorium on evictions, where firms across the country need to take a look at who they lost and say, wait a minute, we need you back in. And we need you back in either part-time, or full-time, but on a very flexible schedule. This is something that, again, is just an extreme example of something we see all the time, where women don't want to leave the workforce, but they're forced out because they cannot make their work and their caregiving obligations fit together.
There are a lot of people, I think, in our area in the same boat. And, for someone like me, there's also a certain amount of guilt in that, we had to redo our finances, but here we are, we can do this. If you're a single mom and you're working and you can't afford childcare, but yet you can't quit your job, you have to pay your bills, you have no choice but to deal with this insanity. And my heart goes out to people who just don't have the option we had. I get it. We're lucky.